Mr. Boston, we're gonna, we had the county business first, but we'll probably start with the city in your y'all's case since we have more folks in this. Just FYI. After the third street. Yeah, well, yeah. And they, I mean, the visual of it is.
Good morning and welcome to the August meeting of the Knoxville Historic Zoning Commission. Sorry, I overstepped there a little bit. This meeting is broadcast on several TV stations, so please remember to speak clearly and directly into the microphone. Dallas, will you call the roll, please?
Yes. Commissioner Blackburn,
Here.
Commissioner Eason, Commissioner Bradley, Commissioner Fox,
Here.
Commissioner Hearns, Commissioner Mitchell, Commissioner Randazzo,
Here. Here.
Commissioner Tillman,
Here.
Commissioner Webster.
Here.
All right, that's 7 present.
Thank you, Dallas. If you wish to speak on an item, please stand now and answer with "I do" to the following affirmation. I solemnly affirm that the testimony I'm about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I do. Thank you.
I do.
Pardon?
I do.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We ask that all speakers please limit their presentation to 5 minutes. We also ask that speakers please give their name and address before speaking. Please sign in at the desk by legibly printing your name and address. Appeals of any Historic Zoning Commission decisions may be made to Chancery Court within 60 days of the date of this meeting. At this time, we'll have approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Have a motion properly seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Lindsay will go into staff reports, please.
Okay. Jumping through the county real quick. Okay. So the level 1 COA is issued since the last meeting at 1025 Luttrell Street. This was a porch project. The applicant will be repairing and replacing in-kind sections, the left section of the front porch, including foundation work, which will be replaced in kind, and then temporary removal of the wood handrails, balustrade, and porch supports, and then reinstallation in the same location. There may be some repair associated with that. At 801 North 4th Avenue, this is the new construction townhouses. This is a minor revision. The brick pattern on the rear elevation fronting the interstate has been revised to a running bond pattern instead of a projecting design. The brick, the color, and texture will all match the facade and the side elevations. At 714 Haynes Place, there was a roof replacement, removal of asphalt shingle roof cladding, and replacement with new. At Blunt Mansion at 200 West Hill Avenue, this was a revision to the previously approved secondary structure, which was reviewed and approved by the Historic Zoning Commission in January 2023. Everything associated with the secondary structure remains the same, but the greenhouse location has been moved from the northeast corner of the property to just south of the Craighead Jackson house, and that's due to topography reasons. At 119 West Glenwood Avenue, the applicant will repair and replace in-kind patches of rotten wood siding with new wood siding, repair and replace in-kind wood trim elements, and then replace sections of their asphalt shingle roof cladding. And then at 1111 Harvey Street, the applicant has submitted a new accessory structure that will not be visible from the public right-of-way, and they revised the site plan from what's in the level 1 report. It's a 10 square foot, very small secondary structure, which meets the design guidelines in material, roof, and door.
Okay, thank you. Our first case is in 4th and Gill, 12012 Luttrell Street. The case is 7C23-HZ. Lindsay, would you like to give us an overview, please?
Yes. So this is 1202 Luttrell Street, and this was postponed from the July 2023 meeting. So as we discussed previously, this is the replacement of 13 windows on the house's second story. The windows to be replaced include 8 6/1 double-hung wood windows and 5 multi-light wood casement windows. The proposed window replacements include 8 6/1 double-hung wood. These have the revised specs indicate full divided lights. The casements are 8-light simulated divided light with internal spacers. And the revised submission includes photos of each window, additional specifications from the manufacturer, and then conditions assessment. And so I can run through some of the findings as I click through some of these photos. I can go back through the description of the existing windows if we need, but I'm going to address the revised information. So the applicant has provided revised information primarily in writing to document the window's condition. They're described as having rotten sashes and sills, replacement glass panes, which is a common method of window repair, cut balance cords and inoperable sash balances and locks. So the commission should discuss the described conditions and if those conditions warrant replacement. The guidelines note that replacement windows should be the same overall size as the originals, with the same pane division and the same muntin style and exterior depth, width, and profile. So the applicant has submitted revised specs with 6/1 double-hung full divided light wood windows. And then we have measurements for the existing rails and stiles on the window or on the windows to be installed. Wood windows would typically have similar dimensions as previous wood windows, since they have a similar strength needed to support the panes. The revised specs also include paired 8-light wood casements with simulated divided light and a divider between the window panes to simulate a full divided light muntin or rail. They can be appropriate, provided the muntin depth, width, and profiles are comparable to the originals. These specs do meet the guidelines more clearly than the initial proposal. And then there's a note on the guidelines saying false muntins or grids should not be used. However, these are revised to avoid the false muntins or grids. There's an internal spacer added between the simulated divided lights. They have been found to adequately emulate the full divided light windows on second stories, which are less visible from street level. So the staff recommendation, and we can go back through these specs, is that the commission should discuss the new evidence provided to document the window's condition and determine if that evidence supports window replacement. Pending the receipt of final window measurements, the proposed new windows do meet the design guidelines. So pursuant to the commission's determination on the existing windows condition, staff recommends approval of 7C23HC as submitted.
Thank you, Lindsay. Is the applicant present? Would like to speak?
Yes, thank you. I'm Harry Boston at 1202 Luttrell Street. I did want to make a comment before we got started. First, I really appreciate all the time and consideration. I know we've given you a lot of information to look at, but I wanted to share with you that Kim and I really love our new home. You know, we love the neighborhood. We are 100% committed to maintaining the historic features, the look of the house, and being a positive part of the community. Just for context, if I may, the downstairs of the home has big, beautiful, ground level, big, beautiful windows. They're about 4 foot by 5 foot, old glass. They're just gorgeous. Now, they need some TLC, but they're going to get TLC. So we'll fix the glazing, we'll fix the lines, and we'll make sure they're protected and maintained. There's also some leaded glass windows. You could never replace those windows, and we understand that, and we're going to protect and preserve those windows downstairs. Upstairs, the windows are more of a mix. They're different patterns. They're a mix of old and new glass, and most of them are in pretty bad shape. Matter of fact, last week or so when we got that big rain, found out that the rain comes right through. So that was an adventure. I asked Ryan Nafziger to give us a second opinion. Some of you may know Ryan from Architectural Customs. He rebuilds windows in the neighborhood, and he said, these windows in the front, the wood's just not good. I can't rebuild the window because the wood's rotten, so we have to replace the wood, and you're essentially rebuilding. You've got a new window. So it's on that basis that we respectfully request that we be allowed to replace the second-story windows with historically correct, consistent, functional windows that'll preserve the look of the home and protect it from damage from water leakage. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Boston. Is the neighborhood representative available?
I have a comment from Aaron Streeter, the Fourth and Gill neighborhood representative. He just asked that details should be provided to staff, clearly showing any differences that will be involved with any of the windows that are approved for replacement, including jamb details, muntins, and sills. They are fine with those going to staff for review. He had a comment about the French casements being replaced with mold casements, since that's what these drawings that are provided show. Or another, would also like to see those details. And he also made a note that the commission, and asked that the commission consider the windows, if not individually, with the understanding that, but they won't look the same if only some are replaced, is a troubling argument according to the guidelines and secretary standards, since the criteria for replacement intend that replacement windows match all visual characteristics.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll entertain questions from the board.
Lindsay, I had a question for you. In the staff recommendation, it says pending receipt of final window measurements of the existing windows. Have those already been submitted to you?
So these are, this is the most measurements we've been provided in this spec here, and I think what the neighborhood had noted would be something from the catalog that also includes all of the additional jamb details, muntins, and sills. And then we have measurements here that were provided of the existing windows. It's just these were provided after the staff report and agenda was posted.
Thanks. I find the evidence submitted by the applicant for replacement of all the windows compelling. And I feel in support of this application.
Any other questions, comments?
I would like, just for a general, is my mic, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Just for future knowledge, so low E is approved in the guidelines, but these are listed as low E4. This might not be a question for you, but can you tell me, what are the differences between, is there E1, E2, E3, E4? Does this have any effect on the coloring or look of it?
No, ma'am.
Come up, Roger. Make sure you give me your name, tell me who you are.
Roger Sayers from the Home Depot. Primarily, the different types of low E that are out there are manufactured by different manufacturers. They put a different trade name on them and off they go. When there's different glasses that are available. If we were far up in the north, we'd have different coatings on the glass so that we could maintain heat inside of the home, and people pay a lot of money for that. If we were far in the deep south, we'd have different glass to keep the sun from penetrating through, keep the radiant energy out of the house. It shows a little different that way. Tennessee sits at the bottom of the north and the top of the south. A standard low E glass package for many of the manufacturers will meet all of the Energy Star requirements that are out there today. Coloring is all going to be very close, very close. And our eyes are going to see things a little different anyway. It's just the way that it's done. It's the industry standard today. You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions? If not, I'll make a motion to approve based on staff recommendations.
Seconded.
Thank you. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Boston.
Again, thanks so much. We really appreciate it, and we're really happy to be in the neighborhood. I fear we'll be back because there's other things we need to do. But we got the drill now, so we'll be ready the first time. Thank you.
Just come by here first. That's all we ask.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, next case is Mechanicsville neighborhood at 321 Dedrick Avenue. It's it's case 7B-23-HZ. Lindsay?
So this is a new secondary structure. It's a detached garage with an accessory dwelling unit above. It measures 24 feet wide by 28 feet deep. It's located approximately 28 feet from the rear of the primary structure and 3 feet from the side property line. Will be accessible via the existing driveway. On the left side of the primary house, it features a front gable roof with a 12/12 pitch clad in architectural shingles, 2 shed roof dormers extending to each side. The garage will be clad in a 4-inch lap fiber cement siding with a fiber cement shake siding on the dormers. And the facade, the southeast elevation, will have 2 8-feet wide carriage style doors with transom windows. So the garage and accessory dwelling unit will be placed behind the primary building at the rear of the lot. So the tax parcel extends to Kanzler Avenue, as you can see there, but the lot of record is approximately 140 feet long, so placement of the new garage won't hinder any future development on Kanzler Avenue. Placement meets the guidelines. The secondary structure is smaller in height and massing than the primary, and the craftsman style is aligned with the primary residence. The roof pitch and detailing are compatible with the primary house. The proposed 4-inch fiber cement lap siding and architectural shingle roof meets the design guidelines in that it does approximate the wood lap siding. It has been approved for secondary structures, new construction in the past in Mechanicsville. The design guidelines specify wood windows, but in the opinion of staff, a 1/1 double hung composite window is appropriate for a new secondary structure, so staff's recommending approval as submitted.
Thank you, Lindsay. Is the applicant present would like to speak?
Hi, I'm Bentley Marlowe. Sorry, that's really loud. There's no pin up here to sign in, by the way.
It's taken away.
Yeah. Was it a red, white, and blue pin with a flag on it? I was here last night when the janitor was closing up, and he asked me about that pin, and I said you could have it. Sorry. I didn't know it was a sign-in pin. My fault.
Okay, so I'm Bentley Marlowe, and I live at 322 Douglas Avenue. This is in my neighborhood. I'm the contractor on the job.
Okay, thank you. Anything you want to add? Or you...
I think Lindsay summarized it pretty well.
Is the neighborhood representative available?
I haven't received any input of opposition or issue from the neighborhood.
Okay. All right. Commission, any comments, questions for the applicant?
I have a question for staff. It seems like the dormers have more roof surface than the front gable pitch, and I'm curious about the 18-foot mid-height. Technically, how is that measured? Is it when you have dormers that have such mass?
Yeah. So I'll also defer to Mr. Aarons here, but the height measurement goes to the midpoint of the gable. And can you clarify what that means when the dormers are present? Do you understand the question? This is a height measurement question. Just got here.
Question is, the question is where we measure the height?
Yes, when the dormers have much more mass than the front gable, you have more roof area from the dormers themselves. I would have thought that you would have measured from the midpoint of the dormer roof rather than from the midpoint of the gable.
We do not measure from the midpoint of the gable. We measure from the primary roof as opposed to the gable.
So what do you consider the primary roof in this case when the dormers have more roof area than the front gable?
So I can cite the code too, because I have it pulled up now. So the building height, the general measurement is the midpoint height between the eaves and the ridge in the case of a pitched roof. So that would still be considered the primary roof form, is that gable. And then the additional point on the dormer is any dormers that extend past the roof line can't exceed that maximum building height permitted in the district as measured from the adjacent grade to the top of the dormer.
Does that answer your question, Elizabeth? Okay.
I move that we, are you asking for a motion?
Yeah.
Okay. I move that we approve based on staff recommendation.
Thank you, Daytona.
I'll second.
Haley, it's been motioned and properly seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Ms. Marlowe. Good
Thank
luck.
you.
All right. The last case is in Old North Knoxville at 410 East Oklahoma Avenue. It's case number 8F23-HZ.
So this is at 410 East Oklahoma Avenue, and the project in question is the replacement of one non-historic single light casement window on a rear roofline dormer. The applicant had proposed a 1/1 double hung vinyl window. So as you can see on the screen here, the window to be replaced, the non-historic casement window, it cannot be seen from the street. It's this small-sized dormer here. And it's recessed behind a gable or a hipped roof massing that projects towards the rear. Guidelines recommend that replacement windows be the same overall size with the same pane division and muntin depth, width, and profile, the same material as the originals, which were generally wood. So they will be proposing a double hung window, which is better aligned with the originals than a single light casement. A vinyl window does not meet the design guidelines. As a non-historic window that's not visible from the right-of-way, an alternative material may be appropriate, provided that the meeting rails and stiles are compatible with a wood window. Obviously, a wood would also meet this design guideline. So staff is recommending approval of the rear elevation window replacement, subject to the condition that the applicant submit a revised window material spec to staff for approval.
Thank you, Lindsay. Is the applicant here? Would you like to speak?
Yes, I'm on Zoom. Thank you. Susie Smith at 410 East Oklahoma. Lindsay and her staff have been extremely helpful in providing the suggested alternative material or wood, and we're in agreement with that. And I hope to submit new specs to her in a short amount of time.
Good. Thank you, Ms. Smith. Is the neighborhood here? Okay.
Yeah, it's Garrett Bentley from 317 East Oklahoma. I'm filling in for Sean Boland today. Yeah, we agree with the staff recommendations, especially given the lack of wood, the high quality wood right now, the high temperatures. So we're aligned with the alternate materials.
Okay, thank you. All right, commission, questions or comments for the applicant or the neighborhood?
I'll make a motion to approve with the condition of staff recommendation.
Thank you. Travis, we have a second? All right, thank you, Jennifer. All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right. Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Thank you.
Good luck. All right. At this time, we'll adjourn the city portion of this meeting and turn it over to Mr. Ewert and the county.
Yeah, you guys can leave. But this is also one case, so.
You don't have to, but you can.
Do I need to swear everybody in for our meeting then?
Let me see if we have.
There's no one else on.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the Knox County Historic Zoning Commission meeting. This meeting is broadcast on several television stations, so please remember to speak clearly and directly into the microphone. Please limit your presentations to 5 minutes. After you approach the podium, well, nobody's here, I'm sorry. Appeals of Historic Zoning Commission decisions may be made to Chancery Court within 60 days. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Belser, Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Haston is excused. Commissioner Ewert,
Here.
Commissioner Eisenberg.
Here.
That's 3 present.
Got a quorum. Everybody looked at the last meeting notes? Can I get a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion approved and second. All in favor? Aye. All right, Lindsay?
Okay. So our one case this month is at 1000 Olive Road in the Village of Concord Historic Overlay. So this is a revision to a previously approved COA that y'all saw in March 2023. It was a major exterior rehab project to this house, if this calls back to mind everything. So the applicants received approval for a wood lap siding. They had stated they'd remove the vinyl siding and then repair the wood lap siding underneath, or replace it in kind, pending evidence of that original siding uncovered when the vinyl was removed. So this is the facade of the house, if you can see that right here. The applicants have come back to propose a fiber cement, like a hardy plank lap siding on there instead of wood. So, and that's the side elevation there, and I can go back through these photos. So as we've discussed previously, this house is contributing. It has been significantly modified with these large rear additions, side additions, and vinyl siding. This is part of a broader exterior rehab project. They had originally proposed to remove that vinyl siding. The guidelines first say repair and replace the existing wood siding. However, there wasn't any wood siding below the vinyl. The Concord design guidelines have some really early provisions for the use of synthetic sidings, including details on how to install it. They say that alternative sidings must match the dimensions of the original wood siding as closely as possible, not result in the concealment or removal of original decorative detailing or trim. Typically in the city, fiber cement siding can be approved as a 4-inch or 5-inch lap, smooth finished with the corner boards and window trim. Synthetic siding, including fiber cement and then vinyl, has also been approved for new construction and secondary structures in Concord, along with one approval for removal of aluminum siding and replacement with fiber cement in 2012. In 2012, the discussion noted that the guidelines for synthetic siding were mostly written about aluminum and vinyl, and the neighborhood supported the fiber cement in 2012. So staff is recommending approval of 8E23HZ, subject to the condition that the new fiber cement lap siding be smooth finished, 4 to 5 inches in exposure, with corner boards and window trim to reflect the historic designs.
Thank you, Lindsay. And the applicant's not present.
They are not, but they were in agreement with staff recommendation.
How about the neighborhood association?
I received a note from Taylor Harris, the president of the Old Concord Residents Association, saying this seems appropriate based on the reasons you cited. She passed it along to the officers and did not receive any different feedback or questions.
Thank you. And no opposition. Okay. I'll turn it over. Commission, any comments or a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve staff recommendation.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Motion accepted. Thank you. We're adjourned.
Thank you, guys.